Welcome aboard, applicants. Let's begin with the first year law students exam, November 2020, question number 3. As with all of our essay questions, we begin with the call of the question, so let's begin there. Number 1, on what theory or theories of liability could Alice reasonably sue manufacturer? Discuss. 2, on what theory or theories of liability could Bill reasonably sue manufacturer? Discuss. Well, at this point, we really don't know what our area of law is. Because of that, we should probably read our question, and so let's do that right now. Manufacturer produces and sells fully assembled bicycles, bikes, directly to customers or consumers. Alice purchased one of manufacturer's commuter bikes, the frame of which was composed of aluminum tubes welded together. Shortly after receiving her bike, Alice was riding it to work when, without warning, the frame collapsed, causing her to crash and suffer serious injuries. Alice took the broken frame to a bike mechanic, who told her that several of the tubes had not been properly welded together. The mechanic told Alice that in my many years of repairing bikes, I have never seen such sloppy welds on this or any other brand of aluminum bikes. Bill purchased one of manufacturer's road racing bikes, the frame of which was composed of a carbon fiber, making it much lighter than if it were made of aluminum. Many of manufacturer's competitors, also produce racing bikes with carbon frames. In order to make its racing bikes lighter than any other similar bike on the market, manufacturer reduced the thickness of the carbon tubing by 1 millimeter in comparison to its competitors. Several reviews of manufacturer's bike in bike racing magazines suggested that although the bike was lighter, using less fiber carbon material made the bike less stable, slowing the bike down. According to these reviews, using less fiber carbon material also made the frame considerably weaker and subject to breakage. 6 months later, during a race, the frame on Bill's bike collapsed, causing him to suffer serious injuries. An investigation of the crash revealed that one of the carbon fiber tubes on Bill's bike had cracked and broken in half. Well, I think we can safely say that both of these areas of law are going to be torts. And since we have our go-to formula, our go-to shopping list for torts, we're going to put that down right now. Intentional torts, negligence, strict liability, products liability, other torts, and third-party issues. Copy and paste that under number 2 because they both share the same area of law. Now, we're going to bring this to the second page so we can all see it. Okay. Now, we're looking now at Alice v. Manufacturer. So, as we're approaching this, we need to be making our answer for for option number 1. Oh, let me cut this here, bring this down here. Hang tight, everyone. We'll get this here. We've got to bring up our calls. There we go. Make sure to attach that back up here. Thank you for your patience. Bring that down here. Okay. Now, first call the question, what theories of liability could Alice reasonably sue manufacturer? So Alice v. Manufacturer. Okay. Putting our shopping list in there. Second call, what theories could Bill reasonably sue manufacturer? Discuss. So it's Bill v. Manufacturer for number 2. Okay, now after having read this, we also now have a pretty good idea, a bird's eye perspective, big picture perspective of what's going on here. Now, manufacturer produces and sells fully assembled bikes directly to consumers. Supporting fact at this point, Alice purchased one of the manufacturer's commuter bikes, the frame of which was composed of aluminum tubes welded together. Now, shortly after receiving her bike, Alice was riding it to work when, without warning, the frame collapsed, causing her to crash and suffer injuries. At this point in this paragraph, we definitely have a products liability, so let's put that down there right now. And remember, under products liability, we want to make sure that we bring up the two important, or I should say the three things that come out of this would be negligence, strict products liability, and because we're dealing with a good here, the bike, it's implied warranty. Why am I saying implied warranty? Because there's no written warranty of merchantability. We're not dealing with a representative that is representing the good to operate with or outside of its ordinary function. So it wouldn't be fitness for a particular purpose, but just for merchantability. Now, coming back up here now, Alice took the broken frame to a bike mechanic, who told her that several of the tubes had not been properly welded together. The mechanic told Alice that in my many years of repairing bikes, I have never seen such sloppy welds on this or any other brand of aluminum bike. So at this point, all of this here, first paragraph and second paragraph, primarily deal with Alice v. manufacturer, and we definitely have in this situation negligence, strict products liability. We have the implied warranty of merchantability, and now do we have any intentional torts? Doesn't look like it. Ordinary negligence doesn't look like it outside of the negligence for products liability. Strict liability doesn't look like we have any abnormally dangerous or animal related harm. We definitely are dealing with products liability. We dealt with that. Other torts, well, we don't have any. We have the same defendant, but I don't. Well, that may or may not be an issue here. I don't see that as an issue, so we'll delete that. And then third party, we don't have any third party issues here. So this would represent our answer for this particular party versus party orientation. So let's now continue with Bill and see if what happens in the Bill section of our question. Bill purchased one of manufacturer's road racing bikes. Well, at this point, we're probably thinking, okay, this is riding along the same rails as the Alice v. manufacturer. So we would be correct on that. The frame of which was composed of a carbon fiber, making it much lighter than if it were made of aluminum. Many of manufacturers' competitors also produce racing bikes with carbon fibers. In order to make its racing bikes lighter than any other similar bike on the market, manufacturer reduced the thickness of the carbon tubing by 1 millimeter in comparison to its competitors. Several reviews of manufacturer's bike in bike racing magazines suggested that although the bike was lighter, using less fiber carbon material made the bike less stable, slowing the bike down. According to these reviews, using less fiber carbon material also made the frame considerably weaker and subject to breakage. Now, 6 months later, during a race, the frame on Bill's bike collapsed, causing him to suffer serious injuries. An investigation of the crash revealed that one of the carbon fiber tubes on Bill's bike had cracked and broken in half. Okay, so now we have a very similar situation. Do we have an intentional tort situation here? No. Do we have any ordinary negligence situation here? No. Not outside of any kind of strict products liability, because we're dealing with a product here. Were we dealing with strict liability, abnormally dangerous or activity or an animal-related harm? Doesn't look like it. And then products liability. Want to make sure to bring that out. Products liability. And remember, we have in this instance we have negligence. Oh, make sure to spell that right. Thank you for your patience. Strict products liability. Okay. Do we have any other tort situations? It doesn't look like that. Do we have any third-party issues? Doesn't look like it. We want to make sure, too, that we put in implied warranty of merchantability, that it would function, that the bike would function according to its ordinary purpose for which it was made. And then put a conclusion at the tail end of that. So we now have the bones of what would be our paper at this point. So as we start filling this out, we'll start to see some interesting things. Okay, we got now here under negligence, we're going to bring up duty, breach of duty, actual cause, proximate cause, damages, and don't forget about defenses, which are going to be contributory negligence, comparative negligence. Okay, make sure I spell that right up here. Thank you for your patience. And assumption of the risk. I don't see there being last clear chance as a defense here, so we're going to just do contributory negligence. Now for strict products liability, what we're going to do is we're going to deal with manufacturer, whether or not the party is a manufacturer, and we'll make sure that right here that they put the product in stream of commerce. And what we could just trim that down to is just stream of commerce up here. Or I'd say, you could say / chain of distribution. Okay. And then make sure that we talk about defective product. And make sure we're going to talk about unreasonably dangerous. And then defective product, after that, we're going to be bringing up actual cause. Oh, and make sure that when we bring this up here, we want to make a special note that it left, put a little asterisk here, that it left the manufacturer in the same unreasonably dangerous condition. Okay. There we go. Actual cause, which we will borrow a lot of these rule statements up here down underneath strict products liability. Proximate cause. We're dealing with damages at this point, and then we're dealing with comparative negligence and assumption of the risk, and possibly misuse as a possible defense. Now remember, up here we're dealing with, well, actually it's unforeseen misuse of product. Okay, now there isn't anything here that I'm seeing that is beyond that we could bring up additionally, like regulatory compliance. Nope. State of the art. Nope. I don't see any other defenses that would be brought up at this point. Third party alteration. Well, to a bike mechanic, that's possible. Maybe there's a small argument for third party alteration, and but that's so small. Now, implied warranty of merchantability. Remember, we're pay special attention here to ordinary purpose for which product was made. Okay, and whether or not that was breached, well, I think it was at this point, but we're going to be using facts to establish that. Now, coming down here, we're going to make a conclusion, and then we're going to go to now to bill. Make sure to, we're going to have a lot of the same things, so we just know all we need to do here is just copy and paste this down here, and we should have a full element based discussion here. Just a minute. Thank you for your patience. Right here, looks like we got the same stuff going on. Strict products liability. Well, we're going to borrow a lot of this. We're just bringing this down here. We might have to take some out, but we can borrow a lot. Right here, bring this in. Okay. Okay. Actual cost, comparative assumption. We might be able to argue unforeseen plaintiff misuse here, because what was it that Bill did? He 6 months later during a race could argue that was possible unforeseen plaintiff misuse, but I don't see any third-party alteration here, so we can delete that. Implied warranty and merchantability the same, and let's see what was. Thank you for your patience right here. Let me redo this here. Okay, gotta come down here and take this at this point here. There we go. There we go. Excellent. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so that's great up there. Yeah, it was a racing bike to start with. Exactly. That's the winning argument. That's exactly right. But remember, we're here. That's right. No misuse. Exactly. Okay. We can argue that that it was a racing bike. Okay. Absolutely. Right. Good job. Good job on spotting that. No, there was no misuse, but we can bring these arguments up and easily dismiss them. Okay. Now down here under implied warranty and merchantability, remember, make sure we're going to bring up the ordinary purpose for which the product was made. Copy that. Bring that down here. Paste that in. And we have a conclusion. So at this point, and the magazine article, excellent aspect. Okay, where does it fit? The magazine article would help to establish right here under breach of duty. I want to make sure to talk about this, because remember, defective product, unreasonably dangerous. Thank you so much for pointing that out. We need to establish whether or not the product itself was defective due to a manufacturing defect, a design defect, or a defect in warning, inadequate warning. And I believe that the bike racing magazine right here, I'm just going to highlight this, suggested that right here. Here we go. Although the bike was lighter, using less fiber, which made the bike less stable, slowing the bike down. That's exactly right. So it looks to me like you could argue design right here for Bill right here. Let me bring this down here. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this down underneath Bill. Okay. Excellent. Right here. I would have to say at this point where the bike magazine would help to establish that the design in the first place was not in other words, the utility of using a composite, how they put it here, using less fiber carbon material, even though the bike was lighter, it was actually less stable, and therefore, right. What about assumption of the risk? That's exactly right. The assumption of the risk argument up here. Was Bill aware of that? Oh, excuse me, let me come down here. Sorry about that. Was Bill aware of that risk? It's possible that he could have been aware of the risk, but here's the thing: how would he have known that at the time he purchased it? Because several reviews of, well, you could argue that he could have known this because he did read it. I can see where you're coming down on that. That's good. It's definitely a maybe argument. Absolutely. Now, make sure that we're under down here under bill bike manufacturer, but remember to make the the risk versus utility argument, and that is, did the utility of providing a lighter bike outweigh the risk that it might become unstable? I don't think so. And that's why there was a feasible alternative design here. And that's why we want to make sure. So a feasible alternative design. And that's what I think would prevail out of this and make the design a defective design. Now remember too, we're dealing with the consumer expectation test. Would a reasonable consumer expect the product to function like it did? In other words, to become unstable? I don't think so. Also, they could have also provided a warning. Definitely. So this fills up the whole defective product argument for manufacturing defect, design defect, and inadequate warning. That's right. You want to make sure to use all those facts exactly right. Now, I think too that, well, when we bring up assumption of the risk, like we argued, that it would be a maybe argument that he read the review, he was aware of the bike's instability. He could have been aware of the bike's instability. That could be an argument. Remember though, was he able to appreciate the risk and thus voluntarily appreciate the risk, and as a result of appreciating the risk, voluntarily assume such risk regardless of the outcome? That is definitely a like we said, a maybe argument. Now, I think this is pretty much it for right now. And if we might come back to this and talk about this later, but as of right now, this is where we're gonna leave it. I thank you so much for tuning in. I want to put a shout out to Chess Cruncher TV. Keep chess crunching that wonderful chess crunching way. I also want to put a shout out to my Amazon Kindle book, Battling the Big Bad Baby Bar, Essay Basics. Thank you so much for tuning in. And also, I hope that you are having a great time stretching our essay wings, practicing our essay tactics and strategies. Okay, thank you again, and God bless.